Yo, 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 yo. What's going on, faithfuls? It's your boy Nick and Mike here to bring you a fun-filled fan interactive show, which we're going to be starting to do these weekly now. I believe Thursday nights, probably 10 p.m. Not set on the time yet. But before I go through all that, sorry, had the chat on. Before I go through all that, make sure you visit us at nothingbutniners.com. You can find all of our social media platforms there. We got Twitter and Snapchat, Nothing But Nine, ERS, Instagram and Facebook, Nothing But Niners. Check out our SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Play. Wherever you listen to your podcasts, you can find us. Just type in NB9ers. You can find that. Make sure you like that and give us a rate and review and leave some comments. And Mike, what's going on, man?
Sorry about the delay there, man. I couldn't get my mute button to pop up there. What's going on, everybody, man? I'm excited to do this, man. I want to hear from some of our supporters, some 49er fans. I wonder how many people are going to be out there watching today that actually don't like the 49ers and just want to talk on, the NFL and free agency and things like that. That's the kind of stuff that I'm excited about. So I'm ready to get down to the nitty gritty. This is going to be our episode 1. You know what I mean? Connect with NB9ers, episode 1. I'm excited about it, man. I don't know, man. I just want to hear from fans. I want to hear from fans of the team, like I said, supporters of us. I'm excited, man. I'm hyped.
Yeah, like I was saying in the intro, this is going to be, we're going to start trying to come on YouTube 3 times a week. As if you guys watch any of our other shows, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you're brand new to the channel. Make sure you set that bell, your notifications. We got a telephone number you can hit us up at. It's 628-888-3443. You can also send us an email, nb9ers@nothingbutniners.com. You can interact with us on Twitter all the time. Mike is 49ers Mike _NF, and I am 49er Faithful 365. Tony's going to be jumping in here a little later as well. He is NJ Niner Fan 499. Make sure you check us all out on Twitter as well. But guys, Mike, I'm super excited to get this show going tonight with our fan interaction. I mean, without our fans, we're nothing. So we're definitely going to interact with them, bring that up, as well as Sunday will be a debate show, and then Mondays will be topics discussed. So anything that happened throughout the week, just some things that are going on, and we'll talk about all that stuff. So you got the chat pulled up too?
I do on another screen, but I wasn't looking at it right now. Yeah, but I do have it. I have access to it.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to make sure. So just wanted to say what's up to West Coast, Niner by Nature, San Francisco, Mount Kala, Alex Moreno, Hodges in here, Poppy Pablo, Too Much, Robbo Owes Me Money. Everybody's up in here tonight. All of our normals, Nicholas Worth. Let's go, Bang Bang Niner Gang. We got a bunch of people in here. So, guys, we'd really like to take some phone calls tonight. Or if you want to jump on video for a few minutes, I guess we can open that up also. And we can go from there. So, Too Much says Mr. Big Chest to the Niners.
Yeah, I mean, is that where you want to start? I mean, there's some updates going on with the Antonio Brown situation. We do want to always start these things off with like the newest news, and right now everything is just rumblings and reiteration of some of the stuff that's already been said. We're kind of getting to that territory where fake rumors are going to start coming out, and this is going to be from teams and agents and things like that. We had an example of it. I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but Josina. She tweeted out that Landon Collins cleared out his locker at the Giant Stadium. Now, for those who don't know, he's a really good, strong safety, a safety that plays down in the box like how our Jaquiski Tart would do. And she tweeted out that he cleared out his locker room. He said goodbye to his fellow teammates. This was per her source. And then you have other verified beat writers and things like that follow the Giants and other national guys say she doesn't know what she's talking about. That's not true. His locker's not cleaned out. And then not even 20 minutes later, Landon Collins fires back on Twitter and says, that shit I left in the locker, I don't even need that. Like, so, like, this is the time of year where stuff is going to start to get crazy. We got rumors about Antonio Brown. I mean, do you want to start with that? We have an article that I wrote. We have another one that's dropping soon, and I do definitely want to talk about that and see what the crowd out there tonight that's watching thinks about that and what they would do. So that's something that I'm going to be able to get those guys interacting with. But you want to kick it off with Brown? I don't mind doing that.
No, let's kick it off with your article first, because your article was really good. If you haven't read that, you guys can check that out at nothingbutniners.com. It's 5 ways. What was the actual title? 5 ways the 49ers could.
5 ways to fix the 49ers.
There we go.
So the premise of it is this, right? There's 3 rules for it, okay? It's five moves that the 49ers have to make. The first rule is this one, okay? A trade. Only one trade, okay? Anybody in the entire NFL, if you're going to make a trade for this person, let us know the compensation that you would give up to acquire them also. So don't just be like, oh, I'm going to trade for Aaron Rodgers. You got to let us know what you're doing with that and how you're getting Aaron Rodgers and all that stuff. And if you get Aaron Rodgers, it's going to affect one of the second rules or one of the third rules. So before that, so one, you get to trade for any player in the NFL right now. Who is it going to be, right? The second rule is this. 2 free agents, contracts are irrelevant. We're not going to sit here and say, oh, this is how much they're going to make or anything like that. 2 of the people who are pending free agents this year. The time to start tagging people has started. And so far, I think only one has been officially announced. No. One person got a contract. I don't think any tags have happened. I don't think any teams have exercised the rights on any tags yet. So it's pretty interesting already. They could have started this on yesterday, but they didn't. So no one's been tagged yet. So we're going to assume for the purpose of this exercise that as of this moment right now, anyone who's a free agent is going to be a free agent. So for those of you who want to say DeMarcus Lawrence, if you guys want to say him, that's fine. He qualifies because as of this very moment, he's a free agent. All right. So 2 free agents. Contracts are irrelevant since we have Parag Marathe here. But it must be only 2 of them, okay? For the purpose of the exercise, we assume that everyone who is a free agent right now at the time that we wrote the articles or that we're discussing it is going to be a free agent. They're fair game. And the third and final rule is this. 2 draft picks. The picks can obviously be anyone within the realm of possibility. Don't tell me that you want to pick Nick Bosa and you want to pick Josh Allen. That's not reality, especially with a team with only 5 draft picks this year. Okay, so keep it, try to be realistic with the draft picks. And that's another reason why the compensation for the trade that you're giving up was important. So you can't say I want to get Aaron Rodgers and you're giving up a first and second and next year's first, and then you're going to turn around and say that in the draft, I'm going to get Nick Bosa. You don't have a first or a second. It's not possible. So we want you to follow those 5 rules and, operate from there. Now, Nick, my article is out there. Have you tried to do this exercise yet yourself? Because if so, I'm interested to hear it. I want to tell people what my moves were also, since the article's been out there for over 24 hours now. But you let me know if you want to give yours first or if you want me to go through mine.
No, go ahead, go through yours, and then I'll give you what I would do. Yours was really good and on point, though, so I really enjoyed it. So.
All right, cool. So we'll start with the trade first. The player that I thought the 49ers should trade for is wide receiver A.J. Green. All right. His team, the Bengals, have an out this season, and that would allow them to walk away with only a $3 million dead cap hit. So they should be looking to let him go or looking to get rid of him. He was placed on IR in December, so he didn't even finish the season. He's coming away beat up and everything like that. And the Bengals have hired a new coaching staff. All right. They might not be tied to AJ Green the way the previous regime was. There's no emotional ties right now. So I think that in reality, we should probably be able to acquire him. Now, he's someone who will help the 49ers out drastically. Okay. He's 6'4". We know about his speed. We know about his size. We know about his catching ability. The 49ers, you can ask Nick, where do the 49ers struggle the most on offense?
Red zone.
A 6'4" wide receiver will help out a lot with that. And so imagine him and Kittle and then a shifty guy like Trent Taylor in the end zone. You know what I mean? We got 20 yards to go. One of those 3 guys are going to be open. It's going to help us move the ball, be more productive. So that was my trade guy. I put in a lot more details into it when you guys check out the article. So that was my person I would trade for. Next were the 2 free agents I would like the 49ers to target. All right, now this one was a little bit tougher, but I will just go through the names really quick. I have Jadeveon Clowney, and then the other guy was Corey Littleton. All right, now we all know that Jadeveon Clowney is a defensive end, all right, or outside linebacker. It depends on what system you're putting him in and all that stuff, but he plays on the edge of the defensive line, gets after the quarterback. He plays the run game really well. The reason why he is someone that I would target for the 49ers, that I don't think he would be as expensive as like the DeMarcus Lawrence's, or there's reports now that the Chiefs are currently trying to decide between D Ford or Houston. And if either one of those guys hit the free agent market, I think both of them would make more money than Jadeveon Clowney. Clowney has only been healthy for 16 games one time his entire career. He's often injured, obviously. And he's got I won't say he's got a motor issue, but he's got like this thing about him. Like he won't go to the training camps and things like that. He works out on his own. He separates himself from the team a lot. You know, things that you heard about in Ndamukong Suh, that's how Jadeveon Clowney is. He's going to be a risk guy to sign. I think it's another reason the Texans are going to be hesitant to apply the tag to him also, because you're going to guarantee this guy $17.5 million when you know he doesn't come to work out with your team, when you know that he's never been healthy before. I think that they're going to be really hesitant to apply that tag to him. But I also don't think that they want to let him go. I think they might try to offer him something, but it's going to be a low ball offer, and they could end up coming to no deal. So he might maybe make it to free agency. I don't know. As far as my other guy, we need a lot of linebacker help here, okay? We had a really, really rough year. We lost Reuben Foster. The last 2 years, man, you just think about the linebackers, the inside linebackers that the 49ers have lost. Malcolm Smith got here but was never here. He's here and he's still not doing anything. Reuben Foster, Navarro Bowman. The Niners are running through inside linebackers like it's nobody's business. Elijah Lee came in there and played a little bit. But this guy is someone who's electric. He's all over the field. He plays in the middle. He plays up front. He plays in the back end. He's literally on all 3 levels. I talked about some of his stats and things like that. He obviously led that team in tackles. He's only 25 years old. Let me see here. He had 4 sacks, 125 tackles, and 3 interceptions. I mean, he had more interceptions than the entire 49ers defense did. So, which isn't hard to do, don't get me wrong, but those are that would be my 2 guys. I think that if you add AJ Green as a wide receiver, you add Jadeveon Clowney, him and DeForest Buckner can wreak havoc. They might not be Jadeveon Clowney might not be the best edge guy that you can get in free agency as of this very moment. But I wanted to be a little bit creative here. I like his speed. I like what he brings to the table. So Jadeveon Clowney was definitely my guy. You pair him with a guy like Buckner, man, oh man, you can't double team both of them. And then Corey Littleton, a guy who has really good instincts, a lot of speed, and a lot of football IQ. He's all over the field. He makes very good reads, and he's aggressive. I really like that about Corey Littleton. All right, and now to the draft. I went with Nick Bosa. Yes, we got Jadeveon Clowney, but we also got Nick Bosa. Why not? Right? The question is just simply why not? The 49ers have lacked in edge pressure for so long. I say we double up, even triple up on it, okay? Like, let's get as many of these guys in here as we can, and you're going to have to say goodbye to some people that the 49er fans are really fond of, like Ronald Blair or maybe even a Cassius Marsh. But those guys in trade for Jadeveon Clowney or Nick Bosa, I don't think anyone's going to complain and cry about that. My other draft in the second round is a wide receiver that I really, 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 really like, Kelvin Harmon. This guy is a stud. I want to get him here so we can be groomed underneath AJ Green in this exercise, because he also is a guy who is 6'3". All right. He plays bigger than he actually is. He loves going up and catching the 50-50 balls. He's a guy who can catch the ball in traffic and things like that. And, you know, it's crazy when you look at all the draft sites about Kelvin Harmon. They all talk about how he doesn't have the yak ability, the yards after the catch. You don't get to see him put it on display. There's a difference between not having the ability and not getting a chance to show it. His quarterback did not throw him the ball in open space a lot. So the few times that he did, You watch this guy. He's not someone who gets the ball and just runs in a straight line until he's run down from behind. He's a guy that zigzags. If he sees you coming, he's going to cut across the field. He'll run an extra 20 yards across the field trying to get away from you so he can keep gaining yards. He does not like to get run down from behind. So I think that this guy is going to be a stud in the NFL, whether the Niners get him or not, and he's somebody that I want the team to get. So there you have it, guys. I have 2 wide receivers coming in because the Niners need help in the wide receiver position. As much as I love Kendrick Bourne and Richie James and, Marquise Goodwin and all these guys, look, we need size out there. We need someone who's going to get us 1,000 yards a year. I mean, we haven't had that since Anquan Bolden. So give me A.J. Green. Give me Kelvin Harmon. We need edge. God knows we need edge. I think that's the number one need on everyone's list, and we double up on that also. Jadeveon Clowney and Nick Bosa, and then we need some help for the young guy, Fred Warner, in the middle because Malcolm Smith ain't it. No offense, but it's not it. And let's go ahead and do that with Corey Littleton. So you guys have heard that. Nick has been checking out the chat and all that stuff. Give me your thoughts, bro. What do you think on all that?
So, I mean, I really like the synopsis of everything that you said there. There's a few players that I would probably go differently. But before we get into that, the dude 208133 says, what would you guys think it would take to get AJ Green? So what do you think that it would take to get AJ Green, since that is your trade guy? What are your thoughts on that?
I wrote that into the article. I said, I think the 49ers will be able to acquire Green for much less than the likes of Odell Beckham Jr. or even Antonio Brown. The Bengals are likely to keep Green just to get something for him instead of paying $3 million and letting him walk. Between the new coaching staff, the injury, and the cheap out that they have for letting him go, I think Green could be acquired for a high 4th-round pick, which is exactly what the 49ers happen to have, the second pick in the 4th round. So I think that we can get A.J. Green really, really cheap, guys. That injury is something that they might be worried about, and he's not super old, but he's not exactly young either. He's heading his best days are definitely going to be behind him at this point. And so I think a 4th-round pick, we'd be able to get AJ Green.
Nice. If we could do that, I'm definitely locking it down because I mean that would be a decent amount of a pick to get somebody with such high risk or low risk, high reward type of guy. If we can get that done. So I would definitely agree with you with the AJ Green thing as well. I don't know if I'd go and trade for him. For me, I mean, my trade guy, actually, you know what? I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to go draft first. I'll do draft first. So obviously this is saying that players are there. We don't know who's going to be there. We don't know if people are going to trade up. We don't know any of that stuff. So no, you know what? Let's do free agency first. I'm going to do my free agency first because I'm going to pick up pass rush in free agency. So I'm going to get a Trey Flowers. I'm going to go out and get a Trey Flowers. And I'm going to go out and get also an Anthony Barr. So I'm going to play those. I'm going to probably put Anthony Barr at the Sam spot, and I'm going to play Trey Flowers as the defensive end. So therefore, I'm still going to go in the draft, and it really depends. If Bosa and Allen are both there, I'm trading out of that pick, but we're not going to talk about trades. If we can get Trey Flowers and an Anthony Barr in free agency, that pick that comes kind of like your pick does, where you got 2 pass rushers. I address the linebacker position and the edge rush with Trey Flowers because he's still young. He's 25. I think he's 25 years old. This will be his first big contract, I believe. So I'm not going to draft another edge rush right there because I'm going to take that and I'm going to try to trade that pick. Or if I don't get the right amount, I'll take a second pass rush, and it would have to be I would go with Nick Bosa there as well for backups with Trey Flowers. Let's see.
So you've got Flowers and Barr, you've got Bosa, so you got now your 2nd-round pick, and then you still have a player that you're going to trade for.
Right. So my 2nd-round pick, I know he's not going to be there, but It if Metcalf or AJ Brown slips to the second round, you have to take one of them.
You can't do
One or
that.
the
You
other.
know they're not going to be there, bro. You can't do that. It's got to be realistic.
I've seen receivers drop, and we're a high second round pick, so it is possible for if Metcalf is off the board, I think AJ Brown will still be there. If AJ Brown is off the board, I think Metcalf still has a chance of being there. But let's just play that they're not there. Second round. Who would I take in the second round that's gonna be there? I have to think about that. I have to think about that one now because yeah, I have to think about that. Trade for.
Let me ask you this question really quick off the top of your head. What position, forget a player like by name, what position is important to you with the second round pick?
I mean, it's got to be receiver.
Okay.
It's got to be a receiver. So
stop chewing the wire. Oh, shit.
Maybe you could probably slip a Deebo Samuels in there. High second round, but it's just too high for me at that wide receiver. I mean, we know there's only really two, three, maybe three guys that are worth that high of a pick in the second or the first, which would be Metcalf, AJ Brown, and your guy. The hell's his name again? Harmon, that's it. I was gonna say Hunter for some reason. Harmon. But yeah,
Harry's another wide receiver.
N'Keal Harry, yeah, he's there. Man, but I don't really want any of those guys but Metcalf or AJ Brown out of the draft. So
then what do you think about something like this, right? What if the Niners double up in free agency on a really high risk edge guy and then a safe edge guy, right? And then they don't go edge with the first overall pick. So then you can trade back, you can get your Metcalf, and then you can do something else. So I'm gonna pull up the list of free agents because I don't have that here. But there's some guys that you can get like much later, day 3 guys, day 4 guys that are going to be on the edge and can possibly give you some high quality. You get a young guy like
if we were doing third round, I'd give you exactly who I want. But I'm not taking him in the second.
The rule wasn't first round and second round. It was 2 players you want in the draft.
Okay, yeah. So 2 players I want in the draft. I'll just give you another guy I want, and you know who he is. It's Benny Snell. If he slips to the third, I'm trying to get him. We don't know what, and I know that I've been on the McKinnon train, but we don't know what McKinnon has to offer. We know what Breida has to offer, but he definitely stays injured a lot. Benny Snell is more of he's a beast. He's a bruising back, plus speed, plus can catch out of the backfield, can run between tackles really well, and yeah, and I've been hyped up on Benny Snell all year. It's literally my draft crush, but I doubt he'll slip to the third round. Somebody will take him, maybe it might even be like a Jacksonville with the whole Fournette shit going on. Somebody like that could slip in and take him. But you only said 2 free agents, right? So I already gave my 2 free agents, Anthony Barr and shit. Because there's another free agent I want too. But all right. So I need a trade player. And I'm gonna try to make this as realistic. I'm not gonna make it somebody that I know we won't ever trade for. I mean, out of the 3 receivers, I'd rather have OBJ than AJ Green or Antonio Brown, but it's going to cost too much, so it's not realistic. And since you want AJ Green, I'm going to go AB. I think he's going to be he's a little weird. I mean, since this whole stuff's been coming out, I've been following him even more, and he's a little weird. So yeah, I'm going to go with Mr. Big Chest or AB or Brown, whatever you want to call him.
I'm never calling him Mr. Big Chest. That's not, those words aren't coming out my mouth.
Did you see Cam Edmonds' tweet? He was like, no big chest.
So no corners, huh?
No corner. I mean, obviously we're going to address corners in the I think we're going to draft a corner. We do need help in the secondary, but with it only being 2, I don't see corner and safety as much of a need as a good linebacker and edge rusher right now. So if I can address that in free agency, those 2, if you're only giving me 2 spots, I think those are more important right now to hit on in free agency compared to just taking a chance in the draft. In the draft, you can, I mean, I like our corners. I just think that our corners will play better. I mean, you can look at Terrell Brown and them on the Niners team before when we had a legitimate pass rush. Our
Carlos
corners looked
Rogers.
like they looked gold.
Carlos Rogers, Parrish Cox.
Oh God.
What was his name? Terrell Brown, Chris Culliver.
Yeah,
all those guys who were playing well for the 49ers went around the league after that and flamed out. They did nothing without that pass rush, man. It was crazy. I had something I was about to say. Now I forgot.
I want somebody needs to call in and give us what they would say because I want to hear some of these other people's.
I saw a comment in there. I'm trying to find it now.
Yeah,
someone had everything listed out, but I can't pull it up right now. I think I passed it already. Why is Nick always trying to trade out the second pick? Oh, so that's what
I wasn't trying to trade out.
What moves would the 49ers have to make in free agency to make you completely forget about Nick Bosa and or Josh Allen?
What would they have to do in free agency?
Yeah.
Oh, you got to get a legitimate guy in free agency. I mean, like I said, if you can get a Trey Flowers, a DeMarcus Lawrence, I mean, Jadeveon Clowney to me is more of a like straightforward player, so I wouldn't be as sold with him to get me out of the draft because he's got a lot of head issues, also work ethic problems and stuff like that. From I hear all the time about him, but if we can get DeMarcus Lawrence or a Trey Flowers, I'm okay with using that other number 2 overall pick for something else. Whether it be a trade down or a pick. Look, everybody keeps saying to me, why is Nick always trying to trade out that second pick? I'm so nervous about this regime, man. It's just we never nail picks. Like, truthfully, when was the last we talked about this before? When was the last first round pick that we nailed? DeForest Buckner? Mike McGlinchey? I'm saying, like, true legitimate. Like Buckner, yes, he's been good his entire career pretty much. But when do we really get and obviously Buckner was at what, 9? Right? He was 9th pick overall. So was McGlinchey, right? So both of those are late in the first. Not, top 10, but we just haven't really we've passed up so many people. I'm just so nervous that this regime is just like. And I don't want to draft a receiver there because of the history of drafting receivers for the Niners. When we went to go draft Jerry Rice, we didn't even want Jerry Rice. It just so happened that the dude that we wanted went right before our pick. So we got stuck with Jerry Rice, and you see how that turned out. But it's still scary to me. So, all right, what was your question? I'm sorry.
No, my question was, what do the Niners have to do to make you forget about drafting Bosa? Like, what would we have to? How many edge guys do the Niners need to take for you to feel like, all right, we don't need to draft one in the first 2 rounds?
Oh, we got to get 2.
It would only take 2 to pick up in free agency, huh?
2 edge guys. 2 edge guys. So, I would be okay with. I'd be okay with Trey Flowers or DeMarcus Lawrence, and obviously you're not going to draft this or pick up free agents in the same position. Like, I don't think they're going to pick up 2 defensive ends. You know what I mean?
Oh, why not though? Why wouldn't they do that?
Well, I'm not saying that I wouldn't. I'm saying I don't think they would. Like,
so what about this? Let me and you know how anti-old man I am. Stop it. Stop.
So
You
you're
know how
saying pretty much a
anti-old
tier
man
1
I
and a
am,
tier
right?
2 guy in.
Huh?
So you're saying pretty much like a tier 1 and a tier 2 guy.
I'm saying tier 1 and tier 3, but my
Tier
tier
3.
3 is going to be a really good tier 3. So check this out, right? Let's say, because like I said, Kansas City is deciding between D Ford and Justin Houston right now. That's literally what's happening. They want Justin Houston to take a contract restructure, and he's saying no. He doesn't want to do that. And D Ford is technically a free agent. They have to tag him, but they have already come out and said they're not going to do both. Okay. If one of those guys is free, let's just say it's D Ford because he's younger. If D Ford is free, we know that he solidifies exactly what we need on the edge, right? You agree with that so far? Okay.
Yeah.
What about a guy like Cameron Wake, who's also a free agent?
I've said this on our show before. I would not mind bringing in a Cameron Wake for leadership type purposes. Which I'm really surprised you said that name because, like you said, you're really anti-old guy. But Cameron Wake also worked with our D-line coach, I believe. So, I mean, I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to bringing a tier 1, tier 3, somebody who's on their back end of their career. Like we were with Elvis Dumervil. He's still going to produce. He's going to be that leader in the room. It's not so much like being on the field and playing so much. It's about that leadership presence in the room, which the Niners really, really need.
Yeah, I can see the Niners doing like a Cameron Wake, a young guy like D Ford, even a guy like Deion Jordan. I know a lot of people don't even remember who that is, but he's a Seahawk player. He's not quite 30 yet. He's 29, but you know how John Lynch feels about former Seahawk players. You get those three guys are going to cost you. Well, no, Ford is going to really, really cost you, but it's not going to cost you what DeMarcus Lawrence would cost you. You know what I mean? So I think those are the type of players that he didn't do anything. Huh? All right, sit down. Those are the kind of players that the Niners are going to be looking for. To make me forget about Nick Bosa.
So you're saying a tier 1 and a tier 3 to forget about Edge as the first overall pick. Well, our first overall pick, not.
Yeah, you have to get one of the free agents who that you can give a nice contract right now, and you anticipate them playing out all 5 years of it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't give me a Cameron Wake and say, all right, we solidified that position. That's not going to work.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. So since we're talking about tier 3 guys, Paul Mack said, would you consider Marsh a tier 3 guy?
No. Okay.
It's tricky.
Technically, yes, but that's not when I said tier 3, I mean the reason I use Cameron Wake specifically because he's really good at what he does, but you know you're going to get him for 1 year, 2 if you're lucky. That's what I meant by like it's not how good he is. Because right now, if we were to start an NFL game, every single person watching is going to take Wake over Cassius Marsh. Everybody is. But who are you going to get more years out of? The answer is Marsh. So that's not exactly what I meant. What I meant was as far as skill, like he the only reason he's tier 3 is because of his age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like hell, I mean Eli Harold's available. We don't want an Eli Harold.
A lot of people are so West Coast says Dante Fowler, he's a dog 24 years old and hurts the Rams. Would you?
He doesn't hurt the Rams because the Rams picked him up on a 1-year lease anyway. They weren't planning on bringing him back.
Right. So well, I mean, sometimes you get a 1-year deal and then you can still continue to play there. But would you take a hit at Dante Fowler?
Can I trade him for Flowers? Trey Flowers instead?
What do you mean?
Trey Flowers. The Patriots aren't picking him up. So Trey Flowers is 26 years old. He's a 4-3 defensive end. He's available. I'd rather take him instead of Dante Fowler.
Yeah, and I would definitely agree with you on that. I'm just not as big of a fan of Dante Fowler as most people are. I think 49ers fans are so sold on Dante Fowler because of the rumors before when the Niners are out looking for Dante Fowler. They're trying to get Dante Fowler, And then when it fell through, then it was, oh, the Niners are going after Khalil Mack. The Niners are going after Khalil Mack. And it's like you hear all these press people and media people put in the fans' heads who we're going after, and then they just get stuck on them.
Well, I know I wanted them because of the system familiarity. So that was why I wanted him. I was a big Fowler guy before also. Oh, I got to get my charger. Hold us down, bro. Let me go run and grab my charger real quick. Okay?
All right, yeah, I'm gonna go through this chat real quick and see. Got a big Texans fan in here. What's going on? Good luck to your guys' squad as well next year. Appreciate it. West Coast says Justin Houston and Josh Allen. Would you consider Marsh a tier 3 guy? We already answered that question. Robert Quinn might be a cut also. Jay Austin, that's actually a pretty good thing. Alan Wigdowski says free agents to sign Earl Thomas, Justin Houston, edge, Kevin White, wide receiver, draft 1, Quentin Williams, O'Shane Exems, edge 3, Riley Ridley, Isaiah B. Johnson, Josh Oliver, Clifton Duck. Earl Thomas is an interesting one. I don't know who it was. I think it was Mike. I'm going to ask him when he comes back. But I think Mike was talking about, what if we did bring in Earl Thomas and we moved Adrian Colbert to the box safety, I believe he was saying. That would be kind of interesting. Niner Vegas is not a fan of D Ford. Don't like guys who ball out on their contract year only. They definitely have a choice to make with D Ford and Justin Houston. They're both really good players. I don't think that. I'm not Bayliner. I'm definitely not sold on Fowler. I'm not big on him. He is definitely more. He's definitely more on the better with pass rush than he is on the run. Once Mike gets back here, I'm gonna ask him that question what he was saying earlier. Let's see. Jaguars wanted a 3rd rounder. That's too much for Fowler. Fowler gets pressure. He's not great versus the run. Oh, yeah, I was just saying that. He doesn't have to play 1st and 2nd down. Earl's not coming. I'm from Orange, Texas. I can tell you that. Polo. You know, everybody thinks that Earl Thomas is definitely going to go to Dallas because of the whole thing that happened before him building a house or putting his kids in school there. But I was saying this the other day about Robbie Gould. Football players' families stay everywhere. It's just when they retire, that's where they want to live. So I don't buy too much into where they live or where their house is. Niner by Nature says, I hear that the Cowboys might not tag Lawrence, if this is true. So it's not that the Cowboys don't want to tag Lawrence. Lawrence already said he's not signing a 2nd tag. He wants a long-term extension. It wasn't that they're not trying to tag him. He said if they try to tag him, he's not going to sign the tag. Mike, so if he doesn't sign the tag, what do you do there? But
he's going to sign the tag. He's going to sign it.
He's going to have to. And but they may end up trading it away. Because he may sit out and not choose to play.
He's not going to sit out either. It's a really, really, really bad bluff. So my logic is this. I mean, we all saw what Le'Veon Bell did, and we respected it. We applauded it, right? And now he's a free agent. He's 26 years old. He's still young. He can still get a 4 or 5 year contract and go on and live his life and make all his money, right? But here's the problem. Lawrence is 27 years old right now. Right? They tag him. He's 28. And if he sits out a year, he's not making money. You're not going to get the contract that you would get this year right now. You can get a 5-year really big contract right now. This is your only opportunity to do it. So let's say they tag him and he's like, oh, I'm not playing now. Well, now you're 28. You're going to be turning 29 during the season. You know what I mean? No one's going to give you that big-ass contract. You can get it right now because right now you're walking and saying, hey, I'm 27 years old. You know what I mean? Like, you can get 4 or 5 years out of me. Le'Veon Bell played his hand perfect as far as that goes. It's not a luxury that DeMarcus Lawrence has right now. He's got Literally, the days are counting against him.
I don't think it's about having a luxury. I think it's just about what he wants. He wants a long-term contract, and he definitely deserves it. I mean, he's balled out for the last 2 years, because he was basically saying, like, I'm not signing a tag, and if I have to, I'm sitting out. Like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing a tag again, because, like you said, he's 27 years old right now, so he wants that contract. So why should he? I think the tag is a really stupid thing in the NFL because you're forced to stay somewhere that if you really don't want to, or the opportunity to get paid like you should get paid. And it definitely puts a stall on people's opinions or like plans for their career.
So I'm sorry. I apologize. He's 26, turning 27. His birthday's in April.
Okay, yeah. So he's still.
But you don't want to sit out and be 28 hitting the free agent market.
Right. So that's why I'm saying I think that's why he really wants to be paid right now. Which he deserves. He definitely deserves to be paid. All right. So here's the question I was talking about when you walked away, and I don't know if you said it or if it was somebody else, but correct me if I'm wrong. You had said if Earl Thomas comes here, right, to have why not have Adrian Colbert slide down as the box safety? Was that you?
No, I never said that.
Who was saying that?
I did hear or see that on something today, but I'm not sure. I don't remember who it was that said that.
Okay, I wasn't sure who it was either. That's why I was like, I'm not sure if Mike said it or not. So
no.
Would you do that?
No.
All right, I wouldn't either.
He'd be concussed in 2 weeks.
Huh?
He'd be concussed in 2 weeks. He doesn't have the frame, the girth to be down there hitting like that.
Yeah. Well,
I know we look at him as, he makes these big hits, but
he's probably bigger than Tart though, frame wise. I mean, we were standing next to Tart. They're pretty similar.
No, I'll pull it up really quick, but I'm willing to bet that Tart's got at least 25 pounds on Adrian Colbert. Adrian Colbert's a stick, dude. He's a stick. Hold on, let me see here. All right, so Jaquiski Tart. This is at the time of the draft, so I don't know what his weight is, right? I guess I could pull it up. You know what? I'll pull it up on the 49ers website. Never mind. Let me pull it up on the Niners website. They might have updated weight for him.
Just make sure it's right because they get birthdays wrong.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend. All right, so Adrian Colbert is 6'2", 205 pounds.
Oh yeah, so then Tart's definitely bigger than him. He's probably 225, 230.
Yeah, Tart is what's up? I gotta look for J. It's in alphabetical order by first name. That's weird. Tart is 215, it says here.
Oh, so he's not that much bigger.
No, but he's 6'1", though. So he's shorter and he's got more weight. So he looks, like I said, he looks stockier.
Yeah.
Adrian Colbert looks like a twig. And this is what the site says. I'm telling you, I'm willing to bet that Tart's a lot bigger than that. Tart's probably 225 now.
Yeah, if whatchamacallit is 205, he's definitely like 225 probably. But I wouldn't do that anyway. I wouldn't bring him down. I think he has too much. I think Adrian Colbert's biggest thing is his own head. And I think he need to get back into the way that he was training before instead of, hey, look, you had a great season and now you slack off. And we talked about that before, but
smelling yourself. That's what happened with a couple of players on the team in the secondary. So, they'll get it together. We do have some Ask NB9er questions to go over. I know you're looking at the chat. Did anybody want to pop in with us and share their thoughts on anything?
Not yet. I'll ask again though. So go ahead and go over the Ask NB9ers questions, and then I'll get this in here.
Or you know what? I think I want to try to save that for when Tony's here. So you know what? Let's not do that right now. Hold on. Let's not do that part. But I think I wanted to save that for when Tony was with us. So let me ask you a question, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
If you could choose between Antonio and Odell, who are you taking and why? There's reasons on both sides. It'll be cheaper to get one. but the other hand is one guy is younger and you'll have him for longer.
All right,
Right?
so there's a lot of similarities between both of them. They're both divas, complete divas, but they both are excellent receivers. Stepping on the field, they're both really good. AB's what, 31, OBJ's what, 26, 27?
I think is he 27 already?
I think he's around there. It's going to cost you a lot more to get OBJ, but you're going to have him a lot longer. But it's going to cost you probably at least 3 picks, I would think.
He's
And well,
26.
huh?
He's 26. He'll be 27 in November.
Yeah. So and he's already got a big contract, so you're going to be paying that contract as well. Who would as a football player, who I'd rather want? OBJ. Not just to do. I mean, it's not just to do with age, and it's not to do with what it would take to get somebody. But the realistic part of it is we have a better chance of getting Antonio Brown with trades and him hurting his value, and things like that. I think if the Giants don't trade OBJ this year, they're going to get a new quarterback though, and OBJ is going to be fine. He's going to stay in New York forever, and that's really what's going to happen. OBJ just really wants out of New York right now because I don't think him and Eli get along very well at all. And it just sucks. It's crazy that all these receivers wanting to leave their organizations because of their quarterback. OBJ with Eli and AB with Big Ben. But if you're asking me the question who I would rather go after, I'd rather go after OBJ. Lost your sound. Technical difficulties. Oh, there you go.
All right, you can hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. I think the dog pulled the plug out a little bit. He was like laying on the wires. Niners in here laying down now. So I think if I had to think about the future of the team, I would take Antonio Brown. Just because he's cheaper and I value draft picks a little bit more than the normal person does. So I mean that's what I would do. Did you hear the report that came out today that the GM of the Steelers said that there's Ben Roethlisberger and then 52 babies?
Yep.
What the hell? Maybe Antonio Brown ain't as crazy as what y'all thought he was.
James Harrison had said that before too.
If that's how the organization looks at him, that is insane, bro.
I told you, and that's exactly what it is. Antonio Brown feels like everything is Big Ben. Like Big Ben could go and do something wrong. Like let's say Antonio Brown and Big Ben, they're both late for practice. Antonio Brown would be sit out for the practice week and a game probably, and they would say to Big Ben, like, okay, go get suited up, let's go. Like that's how the players feel about him. But nobody says anything because it's Big Ben.
Yeah.
And now Antonio Brown really put that out there. And Harrison even said the same thing. He's like, yeah, that happened. Like, that's what it is there.
Mm-hmm. That is such a toxic. And look. Let me not pretend like the quarterback isn't the most important player on the field. It is. But you can still determine and send a message with how you treat that quarterback. That I couldn't believe he said that. There's Ben Roethlisberger and 52 kids he's got to take care of. That is some disrespectful stuff, bro.
You knew that it was like that from the gate, from when Ben Roethlisberger was going through his whole scandal thing that he was going through. The Steelers backed him 100% no matter what. Had his motorcycle accident, and it was like, people were like, oh, he's going to be okay. You could just tell that the organization babies Big Ben Roethlisberger. Like you can literally tell, like it's the parents or the GM and the owner. Ben is the son, and the rest are his babysitting kids. Like
That's pathetic, yo. I would want out. That's all right. The only thing I've seen that was more that to that level of disrespect was I don't know if you ever saw, this is a basketball thing now, so hopefully the football fans don't get mad at me, but Kyrie Irving, when he was playing with the Browns, with the Cleveland Cavaliers, this reporter, it was Father's Day coming up, and they were like, it's Father's Day is coming up, and LeBron James has, a couple of kids, but how has he been a father figure to you? What's he like as a father figure? And Kyrie Irving was like, what? Oh, he's oh no, okay, my bad. He was like, I thought you were trying to say like he was a father figure to me, like no, yeah, he's probably a good dad. I mean, I don't, she was like, oh no, that's what I meant. I meant like, how's he a father figure to you? He's like, oh no, sorry, no, I have one father. His name is whatever. Like that's some disrespectful shit.
Yo, like, you're losing two like crazy players, like crazy good players. Like Nate Burleson was saying this morning, he's like, we all like our Ezekiel Elliott because he can just run you over, and we like, Alvin Kamara because he can catch the football, and we like such and such running back because of this. AB started that. Like AB is the one, and he's still young, and you just got rid of him. And then they said the same thing about Antonio Brown. Oh, he can run slants. He can run this. His routes are good. His hands are good. He comes out, he scores 15 touchdowns and leads the league in receiving yards. And you're just like, oh, he's not getting along with our quarterback. Let's just get rid of him.
Meanwhile, you're sending a message to the locker room, and Ben Roethlisberger has been contemplating retirement for the last 3 years in a row, publicly. Not just at home talking it over with his spouse, publicly contemplating retirement. But let's get rid of the other guy. The NFL is a grimy place, man. It's super grimy.
Bro, I could only imagine what the owners and the GM are saying to Big Ben. Oh, don't retire yet. Stay here. We'll offer you a front-end position. Like I could guarantee he's going to come back as a coach or some sort of something in the Pittsburgh organization. He might even take over Mike Tomlin's job.
Yeah, well, that's why Todd Haley isn't there. Like he's been going at it with literally everybody at the podium, like in the microphone to the press. It's crazy. And like imagine Ben Roethlisberger in a New York, like Pittsburgh is a quiet place. It's not one of those big flashy, what I'm like, it's not New York media. You know what I mean? Like it's a quiet place. And he's doing that to the media out there. Like New York people would have had him all over the headlines and plastered all over the news and everything.
Oh, could you imagine if he was a Giant? Oh, you gonna take the phone call?
No, you got it. Go ahead.
All right. What's going on? You're with Nick and Mike, Nothing But Niners.
Hey, Nick, how are you doing? This is Paul from San Jose.
Bob from San Jose?
Yeah, Paul.
Oh, Paul. Paul, what's going on, buddy?
Good. How are you
Good,
doing?
good. Mike, can you hear him okay? Can you just talk a little bit louder?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, that's good.
I'm watching your show on YouTube.
Yeah, no problem. All right, so what's going on, buddy?
My question is, like, do you guys realistically think that they can find, the players and the free agents, and whatever they will, all the draft stuff will happen, whatever we could get in the free agent. So, why can't we? What do you guys think they can?
All right. You're gonna have we were picking up some kind of static through your phone, so I'm gonna have to take you off a speaker and see what you were saying, and then I'll just repeat the question. So what was it? Realistically, something about players, and then I lost you. All right, so realistically, Mike, he wants to know who we can sign in free agency. And this is Paul from San Jose. So, all right, Paul, we're going to go ahead and talk about that right now, and I appreciate the phone call, and sorry about that because we kind of got some interference there for some reason. All right, Paul, thank you.
All right, so I'll tackle it first. I mean, here's the truth. The 49ers are in position to make two big splashes in free agency and then a lot of little ones. We have plenty of cap space, and they're going to structure these contracts just the right way. There's no one that the 49ers legitimately cannot go after. No one. You say the biggest names out there, the Marcus Lawrence, the D Fords, it does not matter. The 49ers can afford any contract in addition to what we already have with Jimmy Garoppolo and everything. There's no one that's outside of the realm of possibility for the 49ers. So I don't know if that's what Paul meant, by realistic, but realistically, there's no one that the Niners can't target.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think he was just asking realistically who we could go after. Maybe more so of a question as realistically, who do we think the Niners will target? If that's the case, I mean, obviously, I think they definitely address the edge. I definitely think they address safety position and possibly even linebacker. I think we may go after every position of need in free agency, whether it's tier 1 guys or tier 2 or tier 3 guys. I think we have the money to realistically go after every position that we need on whether it be offense, defense. We can go after, obviously some are going to be higher than others, but realistically, I mean, we're going to have $75 million as of right now to, not saying we're going to spend all that money this year, but John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan have to get it right this year. They can't come out and sign, Brian Hoyers and Logan Paulsons and, Pierre Garçons. They have to hit on at least, if they pick up 6 free agents, they have to hit on all 6. They can't. Yeah. They can't afford to not hit on it.
Well, I mean, it depends on if they double up on any position. So, for example, right? Like, I really think the Niners should go after inside linebacker Brandon Marshall. He was someone that I really considered putting into my article, but I didn't do it. Brandon Marshall is going to be an inside linebacker coming from Denver. We've got the ties to the Denver organization with the hires that we've made. But like that, he's just one of the names that I like. And I know I said Corey Littleton and everything before, but he's one of the names that I like. Then you have like the safety position, right? There's guys that are out there that the 49ers can go after, like EJ Gaines, like Bradley Roby. You know what I mean? Familiarity.
Oh, Roby's a free agent this year?
Yeah, 27 years old. Bradley Roby's a free agent out there. Bashawn Breeland, he's someone that I was talking about last offseason. He's available now also. Pierre Desir, he's available. I don't think that the Niners are going to avoid any of these positions, and I think they're honestly going to double up on some of them. I really do think they're going to do that. You look at the edge guys. So realistically, who do I think the Niners are going to make the hardest push for? I think they're going to go after their big fish, but we have to see who gets tagged and who doesn't. So I can't say that realistically yet. But I do think a guy like Brandon Graham, they're going to bring him in and they're not going to want him to leave without a contract. Because of his age, he's a tier 3 guy based off of age, but he's a tier 1 guy based off of talent. You know what I mean? So if you get a guy like Brandon Graham in your building and you're the 49ers, you don't let him leave. It's just that simple. I think that they're realistically going to try to go after a guy like Frank Clark, even though people don't like him. I understand why, but I think that the Niners are going to go after him. I think that we have a head coach that really, a GM that really likes players from that organization.
So let me ask you this. So if we go out and we get a Brandon Graham, are you still drafting a Bozer or Josh Allen?
Yes, because one is current, one is not, and the other is the future. You stop me from getting a guy like Allen if you do a Brandon Graham and a D4. A Brandon Graham and I'll be honest with you. If we ended up doing a Brandon Graham and a Frank Clark's 26. Hate him as a person, that's fine. But if the Niners sign him, you don't need to go after a Nick Bosa then.
Yeah.
You don't.
The more and more I think about Frank Clark, I really think Seattle likes him and they're going to tag him. But I mean, he would be a perfect slide-in piece. Like, he really would. As much as I don't like him as a person, familiarity with the system-wise and coming from Seattle, he would fit right in.
Absolutely.
But I just don't think that – it just sucks because you don't let really good pass rushers hit the market. You know what I mean? Teams don't. The only reasons they normally do is if they can't afford them or they just can't get a long-term contract done. And they don't want to waste the tag.
There's a lot of really good guys hitting the market this season, though. I've never seen anything like this before, man. Like a lot of good guys are hitting the market right now, man.
All right, so
like let me ask you this really quick. Like Preston Smith. Preston Smith is somebody, he's a Washington pass rusher, but he's a 3-4 outside linebacker. Let me just doesn't matter if you're standing up or not. You can get after the quarterback, you get after the quarterback. So let's just dead that.
Don't drag me into this, please.
No, that's what I'm saying. We're dead in that now. But a guy like Preston Smith, who's only 26 years old, can get after the quarterback. He's coming from a 3-4 system, but he can come in here and he can really do some work. I've been talking about D Ford all night long, and you haven't hesitated one time. D Ford is technically a 3-4 outside linebacker, but you know how destructive he is. You're not going to question whether he's standing up or not because our defensive end can stand up if he wanted to. It's not you know what I mean? So there's certain players. Jadeveon Clowney is technically a 3-4 outside linebacker. Shaq Barrett is technically a 3-4 outside linebacker. Shane Ray, 26 years old. These guys can come in here and be the piece that we need to get after the quarterback when the time is right. We don't have to just look at 4-3 defensive ends. And these are players. There's too many guys on the market for the Niners to not walk away with at least one of these guys. There's too many of them. I don't want to hear no Jeremiah Atauchu. I don't want that this year. I don't want another Cassius Marsh. No offense. I don't want another Cassius Marsh signing. I want a name that I'm going to be like, yo, I remember that year he had. That's what I want. I want one of those guys. Give me a Cameron Wake. I've said it already. Give me a Cameron Wake if that's what we got to do.
I just want somebody that's going to come in here and perform more than 6.5 sacks off the edge.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
If they can't get it done this year, I mean, they know. You've heard John Lynch say it all season, and I do have faith that they're going to go after it. It's just a matter of getting the right guy, because anybody can say, hey, I'm going to address this need.
Mm-hmm.
But addressing the need to its full capabilities and getting somebody that's going to work compared to not getting somebody that's going to work, that's where it scares me.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to pick up somebody because of similarities or familiarity in a system. I want to get somebody who's going to put his hand down in there or stand up and get his ass after the quarterback, one way or the other. I don't want to see these crazy little signings because, he played here and he played this, he played that. No, that's what you have coaches for. Coach these guys up and play them to a position to where that's what scares. And like I said, I don't want to get into this whole thing, but that's what scares me about Josh Allen is them just utilizing him wrong. I don't have that much faith in Robert Saleh yet to utilize somebody who has that much talent the right way. And I'm afraid of failure for the guy and the team. And that's the only reason I get so nervous about that shit. And if I had complete confidence in our defensive coaches, and like I said, I haven't seen what the new coach yet, Kosirik. So I don't know what he's going to be like. He may come in and say, no, you're using this guy wrong. This is the way you need to do it. But we've seen Robert Saleh use guys in wrong positions. Stort said, oh, Robert Saleh said Eli Harold is this person and this is what he's supposed to do. Well, no, he wasn't that person. So that's what scares me is saying, oh, well, he's really good at this. Let's just pin him here and go. And but you're right. It doesn't matter if it's a 3-4 or 4-3, as long as the guy is getting pressures and getting sacks and disrupting the quarterback, then I'm okay with that. But I still think you have to get at least 6.5, at least over 6.5 sacks.
I'm with you. Now, I know Tony's in here. We have two really good Ask NB9er questions that I want to get to. Tony, are you over there, bro? Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up? I'm here.
All right. So before we get to the two Ask NB9er questions, what I wanted to ask you was something that Nick and I were talking about. What would the 49ers have to do in free agency to make you avoid drafting Nick Bosa or Josh Allen with the number 2 overall pick?
They would have to get a significant Leo defensive end, and they would have to address the Sam linebacker spot.
So 2 of them.
Yes.
That feels fair. That feels fair. Okay.
Because
right,
if you're telling me that I can't have either one, you have to address both in free agency then.
Right. I'm with you. I like it. I like it a lot. So, all right, let's do this this 2 Ask NB9ers questions really quick. Wrong one. All right, so this one is it's from his name is Toneboat on Twitter, TONEBOAT. And it says AB versus OBJ trade scenario. Which one would be best for the 49ers and why? Now, Nick and I kind of touched on this already. You know, the Odell Beckham Jr. is younger. However, the price tag will be enormous. Is it worth the price when you can get AB for substantially less? Ask NB9er. So his question is, which one wouldn't you do? It's which one is best for the 49ers. That's a really, really interesting talking point. So I don't know where Nick is. So, Tony, you answer this first. Which one do you think is best for the 49ers? Not who do you think is a better player, not who can we get more time out of. Who do you think is best for the 49ers?
That is a really, really good question, Mike. The way I look at this is they have to sit down, Lynch, Shanahan, Mayhew, and Peters. They have to sit down and analyze this from both ways as far as player and as far as compensation to get the player. It's a tough question. I mean, it really is. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, you're going to compare the two's age, 26, 31. Contracts are, I think OBJ has 1 extra year on his contract, and I think Antonio Brown has 2 years. I think OBJ has 3. I understand that OBJ's price, his yearly salary is a little higher than Antonio Bryant's. But, I mean, listen, they both have their downsides. Now, they have to think which one is worth, what downside is worth paying for and giving up giving up the price, what it takes to get these players. If I had to choose, man, this is tough. I don't know if I could choose. Could you, Mike?
I can. I have an answer for who I think is better for the 49ers. I do. I really do. Now, before we give it back to you, make sure you speak up a little bit more. I know you're in the car and everything. Just try to speak up a little bit more. Nick, do you want to give an answer or who you think is the best for the 49ers? Not who would you take, but who do you think is the best for the 49ers?
I mean, I think just because of age, OBJ is going to be better for the 49ers. Not only just basing it off of age as well, is he's going to be better for you for long term than AB would. But the only thing that throws me off is how much like you said earlier, you value draft picks. And I'm not trying to get rid of those draft picks that we only have 5 of, or trading a player as well for OBJ when we could literally get AB who's going to produce the same amount of numbers in this system. Whatever receiver comes here is going to produce numbers. So you go with the sure fact and you get rid of, if it only takes a 2nd round pick to get AB, even a 3rd, you're talking 2nd on to get AB. It's not going to cost you more than 1. It's not going to cost you a 1st round pick. He's 31 years old. Amari Cooper just got Dallas got Amari Cooper for a 1st round. Yes, but he's young. He's never really come into a huge contract yet or anything like that. So that 1st round pick is a little bit more to the side. So overall, player-wise, AB would be, or OBJ would be better for the 49ers player-wise, as in youth and stuff like that. But what it's going to cost you to get him compared to AB and financial reasons, even if AB wanted his contract restructured, he's still going to be the best bet because you're not giving up so much. You're only paying him so much to keep him here compared to giving up so much to get him here, then restructuring, and then you're costing picks and money.
Yeah. And you touched on exactly where I was going to go with this. It's about, we know who's going to be cheaper to acquire. We know who's going to be able to last longer. It's about what they bring to the field. And the truth of the matter is, I don't see the production in this system being different for either one of them. It's not like one of those guys more of a red zone threat than the other or anything like that. One's 5'10 and a half, the other one's 5'11. They're the same player right now in this moment. And so for the next 2 or 3 seasons, I think you are going to get the same production if you were to pop them in this offense and interchange them. So with that being said, if the production is going to be the same, who's better for the team right now, in my opinion, is going to be the guy that you give up less for, and that's going to be Antonio Brown. Not Bryant, Tony. He's been saying that to me all week long, Antonio Bryant. But yeah, I don't. If I thought OBJ's production was going to be like significantly more, 600 yards more than what Antonio Brown was going to do, then it would be different. But I just don't see it like that. I don't see Shanahan running his offense where one of those two guys is going to outshine the other by that much. You know what I mean? It's just not the case.
It's really tough because they're both the same type of receiver, like you guys just said.
Mm-hmm.
That's the issue here. It's not like one has a slight edge than the other. I mean, the only thing I really could compare and say maybe one has an edge with is durability. That's the only one thing, and that favors Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown it favors. But, I mean, longevity, I guess it would be OBJ. But, again, we're going to give up a little more to get OBJ. But, I mean, listen, it's a great question. Whoever sent that's a great question. And, I mean, I think everyone's got to sit together at the table as far as the front office of the 49ers and see who really is the best fit. I know a lot of people are concerned about Antonio Brown and the way he's been acting for the last, month. But honestly, guys, I honestly think that this is an act to get him the hell out of Pittsburgh. And maybe it could help him to get to where he wants because he's deteriorating his value.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Mike, here's a question for you. So Too Much says OBJ will cost us our first. I'd rather get AB with the third. And what if Mike says is true? I'd grab Green with the fourth as well. Can you all imagine AB on one side and Green on the other? Would you trade a third and a fourth to get AB and AJ Green? A third and a fourth. And you value picks, so this is a question for you.
This is for Mike?
Yeah. Well, you can answer it too, but Mike was saying earlier how he values picks, as we all do. But if you had the opportunity to trade a third-round pick and a fourth-round pick and you get AB and AJ Green, would you do it?
I wouldn't personally because we traded up in last year's draft to grab Dante Pettis. So you're going to be losing another pick if you think about it.
Not really. You can move Dante Pettis to the slot.
Man, you just brought Wes Welker in to coach these receivers up. You know who's playing the slot.
Who, Trent Taylor?
I would say, yeah.
I don't know, man. A third and a fourth to get AJ Green and AB and have Dante Pettis in the slot, that's deadly. That's deadly, bro.
Yeah, but let me ask you this. What are the cap figures on both those receivers? Now you're talking about allocating probably $26 million to 2 players.
I wouldn't do it. I don't know what the cap figures are, but I wouldn't do it for this simple thing. You're going to give up 2 picks for 2 players over 30. You're not going to get much time out of those guys where you should be looking at, especially your third-round pick. Nick, I think you talked on this the last video that we did about how you can really strike gold in the later rounds of the draft. Not the first and second rounds, but after that is where you find real value. And those guys that you can You get them cheap. They play hard, and you give them a contract. And, you know, those are the guys that you're getting for 7, 8 years at a time. You're not getting either one of these guys for more than 4 years. You know what I mean? So I can't do it just for that reason alone. But man, the first year would be a lot of fun watching the two of them out there at the same time. But I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I can sacrifice one pick, either or, and accept that I'm only going to get 3 years out of it max. But both of them, just sacrificing like that, I can't do it. You want to get an extension for one of those guys or one of those picks, so I couldn't do it. That's really good, though. Like, if the Niners were like just 1 or 2 players away and that was a position, I would do it for sure. But we're not just a wide receiver away, and that's why I couldn't do it. But, man, that is tempting. That is – that was a great question. Who'd you say asked that, Nick? That was a good question. You're muted, bro.
Too much. TUMUCH.
Gotcha. All right. Well, let me get to this other question that we had here. That was from Tone Beat, the AB thing. We said that I think we all agreed Antonio Brown is the better guy. The coaching move that the team made this offseason, is it going to better develop our players this year? This is from Samson. Do you guys think that the coaching moves we made is this going to better develop our players this year? And you know what's weird is that normally I would say that this is a silly question, like, oh yeah, new coaches, of course they're gonna improve the guys, right? But I'm not sure every coaching staff improves their players. There's a difference between taking what you got and using them and implementing them, but there's another difference in improving those players. You know what I mean? Like, and Nick, we talked about this before. Tony, we've talked about it too, with the whole Mike Singletary thing, and then Harbaugh with that same roster improved those players, right? I should say Vic Fangio, because most of the improvement was on the defensive side of the ball. You know, you look at the wide receivers coach for the Steelers, the wide receiver coaches that they've had, they take 4th round guys and they ship them out of here for top picks. You know what I mean? They turn those guys into household names all the time over there. That's the coaching staff improving the players. I hope, the hope for me is that, yes, I hope that we do. I can't tell you much about Shane Day. I don't know too much about him as far as his ability to improve. I know he's been all over the offense, but I don't know. I think he might just be a clipboard holder. I think that I think LaFleur is going to be so busy that he can't focus and stay in that room all the time. And so Day is just there to reiterate what LaFleur was saying. But as far as Welker and as far as Austin, I think those are going to be really good acquisitions that are not only going to get the attention of these young wide receivers, but they're going to be excited to listen, you know? And then you flip it to the other side of the ball where we got Kosurik, and he's got a resume. And yeah, that resume includes that 0-16 team, but that defensive line was nasty then. He's got a resume, you know? God forbid he goes out and gets an Ndamukong Suh and brings them here, or Ziggy Ansah. They're going to attest to what Kosurik can do with them, even when he's not in the room. And these guys are going to know. These guys are going to know for sure. They're just going to be motivated just that much more by those 3 last names that I said. So Kosurik and Austin and Welker. So I do think so, Samson. I think that they're definitely going to develop. I can't stand seeing a player just be there and be stagnant. You want to see them get better and better year after year. And for the longest time, the 49ers didn't do that. I think it's different with this regime already. I think it's already different. We've seen – I can't say that I've seen growth in Buckner, which a lot of people are going to get mad at me for saying, but I feel like Buckner is more of the same. He's kind of been Buckner, you know, all this time. From the second year up to now, I think he's been the same Buckner. But I've seen growth in guys like Armstead. I've seen growth in guys like Witherspoon. He kind of regressed a little bit too, didn't he? Damn, this is tough. This is tough. I think Witherspoon kind of regressed a little bit. We saw Adrian Colbert regress a little bit also.
The only one that really, really progressed was George Kittle.
Yeah. Kittle
That's pretty much really the only one that progressed. I mean, Matt Breida too, but he didn't really get a lot.
You're right. Breida, Kittle, even Bourne progressed also. Nick Mullins progressed. Nick Mullins progressed a lot. Tony, what do you think, man? What do you think? I think this coaching staff is going to get it done this year. I really, really do.
I agree, but you're leaving out the most important hire of them all, Mike, and Joe Woods.
Yeah, he did leave Joe Woods out.
And that was my favorite hire. I completely forgot. Yo, I'm excited for this season, bro. Go ahead. You got it. Tony.
I just think that he's going to help Saleh come up with different philosophies on the back end of that defense. He is the passing game coordinator for the defense, and he is the DB coach, working along with Bullock, who was the assistant DB coach with Hafley. I just think that you're going to see all different looks with the back end in coverage, whether it's cover 2, it's cover 3, you're going to see different looks. You're going to see man, you're going to see zone. And what I really like about it is it's going to be different. It's just not going to be strict cover 3. And I think by doing this and adding a pass rush and adding some talent to this defense, I think this defense has the potential to take a nice step forward. But, of course, this all banks on us being aggressive in free agency and also being successful in free agency in the draft.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Nick.
Oh, go ahead. You're good.
Yeah, it's a lot. These coaches aren't just going to come in here and uplift the guys that were there. Like Tony said, they're going to influence the draft, and they're going to influence like this. That's what I'm happy about. A new perspective, a new set of eyes. When you hear that Kosurik's job is to come in here and honestly evaluate the usage of Solomon Thomas, that excites me so much. It's like, don't come in here and tell me, okay, this is your guy and he's good. No, tell me the truth. Bro, he sucks. He did not look good. If you ask my honest opinion, he needs to do X, Y, and Z to get better. I like that. That's what the Niners are looking for. They're sincerely trying to get better. And that's also going to influence the plays that they're looking at in the draft. All right, well, this is our coaching staff. I mean, this is our this is our scout department. These are the guys that they have on the board based off of what the other coaches like. What do you see in this guy, and what do you think? Now all of a sudden there's a different set of eyes saying, look at this and look at that. You guys might not have noticed that, but look when he does this. That's going to be a giveaway. He's not going to have a long NFL career. All of a sudden, there's the different perspective in this building, and it's exciting. It's just because it doesn't mean that you have to completely do away with everything that these other coaches taught you. You have that, and you have something else to add to it, and you can put it together and make something even better. It's great.
I just like how Kyle. I mean, let's be real. I think we can all agree that Saleh is not the most experienced defensive coordinator. I like that Kyle surrounded him at key spots where we lacked last year with experienced coaches. Because let's face it, Kosurik has a much better resume than Zganina. And in my opinion, I think Woods is a better coach than Hafley.
Yeah, I can agree. You know, Delta called in on the 11th and left a voicemail, and he said, we were talking about the hires of Wes Welker and Miles Austin, and he had said in his voicemail, and he got cut off for some reason, so I'm only going to give you part of it. But he said the reason that he thinks that Kyle Shanahan is hiring guys like Wes Welker and Miles Austin is because his staff has been plucked from, but he's bringing in younger guys who don't really have that much experience as to where he can groom them and grow with this team and stay here. So I thought that was a good point that Delta called in and said about. There's a couple questions in the chat. Other people also said Blair was one that progressed as well. This is a really good question. So, and West Coast, I see your question you keep posting in there, and we'll get to that probably last. But Coach Tim says, why do the 49ers need a veteran receiver? Why? Why do we need one? Does anyone want to go first?
Can I answer?
Yeah.
All right. I first of all, I think they definitely need a veteran receiver, especially with moving on from Garcon. Now, your receiving room is very young and inexperienced. Our leader, if you will, is Goodwin now, that receiving room. I do feel we do need to add somebody, and it's probably going to be more than likely Brown over Beckham because I'll keep it real with you guys. I know someone who has ties to the Giant organization, and it's going to take a lot to get him out of there. So I don't think we're going to do that. I don't think we're going to go that route. I think it's going to be Brown, and I think his leadership and experience could help these young guys. And if we do add a Brown, I honestly think we still address wide receiver in the draft because Brown is 31. So if we get 2-3 years out of him, I mean, listen, I was listening to a podcast. I forgot who it was. I listened to a lot of them. And it's just like, listen, Beckham's a phenomenal talent. It's going to cost us a ton to get him out of New York. And like I said before, the injury history between the two of them, it favors Brown. And like Mike said and you said, Nick, it's better for us for what we got to give up to get him. We spoke previously about what it would cost to get Beckham. And according to this guy I was talking to today, it seems like that might not be enough because I threw it by him. But I just think this room needs a veteran.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Mike, what do you think?
I don't agree, actually. If it was the same group, if the same coaches as last year, I would agree. There's a lot of football. It's a unit working together. The offensive line, the defensive line, even the secondary has to have that kind of communication. But wide receivers aren't exactly the same. Your route isn't really affected by what I do. So what is a veteran going to teach these young guys except to run your route or know your assignments, right? A veteran, you're hoping for tutelage if they're young or, to keep the guys motivated if they're behind and don't give up yet and all that. Well, that's what Wes Welker and Miles Austin are going to bring to this. You don't have to have that veteran in the huddle when they're going to the sideline and talking to the veterans anyway, if that makes any sense to you guys. So I don't know. The wide receivers aren't a unit that have to work in sync in order to be successful, like some of the other positions are. Running backs are the same way. They don't have to work in sync to be successful. But I think that they do need to hear a veteran saying, keep it calm, keep it cool. I've been in this situation before, but we have that on the coaching staff now. Last year, not so much.
Yeah, maybe I don't agree that – okay, let me put it this way. I don't think we need a veteran wide receiver, but we need a wide receiver that produces. It is where I'm at because we can't go through another season with George Kittle being the leading receiver and our next closest receiver has 487 yards. We can't do that. There's no possible way that you see how bad our red zone is. You see that, Kyle likes to spread out when he gets in the 20s, and it just doesn't work in between the 20s and the red zone. So I wouldn't so much say we need a veteran receiver, but we need a guy who can get 50-50 balls. And I'm not big on bigger receivers. So I'm not going to say that I need a 6'4" guy, but I need a guy who is going to I need a guy who's going to produce more than 487 yards. Because if Kendrick Bourne is starting on the outside next year, we're in trouble.
I agree with you, Nick. I agree with you 100%. And I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Kittle is on film from this year, okay? And don't think for 1 second that these defensive coordinators aren't going to try to bracket coverage him and take him out of the game. That's why I think it's very important you need a veteran/productive receiver to take the heat off of Kittle now. Because if you trot out Pettis, Goodwin, and Taylor, they're double teaming Kittle all day.
Bro,
beat us with your outside guys.
Week 1, Pettis has 6 catches for 112 yards and 2 touchdowns. Week 2, he comes out with 5 catches for 97 yards and a touchdown. These are things that we've seen Pettis do in the NFL, but he's been battling injuries and things like that. We don't need a veteran. We need production, which is what Nick was saying. I don't care how old the person is that's doing it. You got to go out there and produce. I mean, I heard what you said with Bourne, but if it's Bourne that's producing like that, then it's Bourne. Someone has to step up and produce, though, is what the point is. We don't have to go – because here's the thing. We can talk about Antonio Brown. We can talk about Odell Beckham Jr. Guess what, guys? Stats don't travel with the player. They don't. They don't, especially with the wide receivers, because the quarterback makes a difference. The other people that are being double teamed and the coverages and all that stuff, all that makes a difference with those skill positions. Defensive linemen, they can bring their stats with them. I think defensive linemen are very capable of, I can beat my one-on-ones and I can beat double teams. And so what I did over here is what I can do over there. But wide receivers in particular, that doesn't transfer all the time. You can't bring those stats with you because you don't have the same person throwing the ball to you. You don't have the same system. So we just need production. We need consistent production here. I honestly, man, y'all gonna make me start talking way before I want to. I'm excited to talk about next year's projections. So predictions.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't care who's doing it, like you just said, but we need more than 487 yards from a receiver. Our leading receiver had 487 yards. And what, 2 touchdowns? Like, that's horrible. But he had 4 touchdowns. And he led the team in 4 touchdowns. We're talking, actually, we're talking a high-profile guy in AB, as in, talking AB, who has 15 touchdowns. But all right, so let me put it this way. Is there a receiver that's free agent without a trade that you would go after that you think would help this system or this team right now?
I know who Mike's going to say.
Wait, I need you to repeat the question. I was trying to mute Tony's mic because I could hear the air in the background, but then I'm not in as us, so I couldn't do it. But you said, is there a receiver that what?
All right. Is there a receiver that's in free agency that won't cost you a trade or anything like that you would go after that you think could help this team right now as we stand? Better than what we have on the roster coming into the season.
Kevin White.
There's been a lot of Kevin White stuff.
You're welcome.
In the room.
I am the conductor of the Kevin White train, bro.
Yes, you have been.
Like, that dude is 6'4". He's fast. He's got hands. He's just got to get it here. And I think coming to a Kyle Shanahan system will do that for him, man. I really, 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 really do. Give me a poor man's Julio Jones. That's what he's supposed to be. That's what he's supposed to be.
Yeah. Ray had said Terrell Williams, which I think Tony touched on before. He talked about bringing in Williams, right?
Yeah, I mentioned Terrell Williams previously. The reason why I like him is because he's a big target. He has speed, and he produced in the NFL. Not this season, the previous season, he was a 1,000-yard producer, wide receiver. I think he had maybe 60-something catches for 1,000 yards with San Diego when I think it was Keenan Allen was in and out of the lineup. But, I mean, listen, if you want somebody like a free agent, like, I'll give you an example. I think a guy that would, a high-end free agent, probably the best free agent on the market, is Golden Tate. But Golden Tate's going to cost you a lot of money to bring here. And at 31 years old, I don't know if he's worth it to tie up your cap to bring him here. I'd rather go the route of, like Mike said, with like a Kevin White. I think Terrell Williams will require a decent contract. I don't think as much as Golden Tate, though. But there are some other, like, lower-tier guys, mid-tier guys. Like, Mike, who was the guy I mentioned to you the other day? I forgot who the hell it was.
Another wide receiver?
Yeah.
Everybody laughs at who I said to bring in.
Who was that?
I really think the Niners should make a move for Robbie Anderson.
They have a Robbie Anderson and Pettis. They're very similar. But, I mean, listen, it makes sense. He was productive with the Jets.
He's 6'3". He's 6'3", 190 pounds. Yeah, he's a little small. But, I mean, he's got great speed.
Did you say he's small? He's 6'3". You called him small?
No, I said he's not small.
Oh. I mean, his frame he's frail as hell.
No, I said 190 pounds. He's small. Like 190 pounds, like he's smaller his frame-wise. 6'3", he's not.
Right.
But listen, we need guys to play the Z receiver. We need a possession type receiver. That's why I think the White, the Williams, even like a mid-tier guy to keep an eye on is a Jermaine Kearse that had those crazy ass catches with Seattle and put up a couple nice catches with the Jets over the last 2 years. He's a possession type receiver. We need a bigger type, like not physically like 6'4", 6'5", but a thicker bodied, I guess, more physical receiver, because the Z goes over the middle. They run the crossers. So, like, I don't think Pettis could be a Z. I don't think Goodwin could be a Z. I think we need to find a Z-type receiver. But the crazy thing is,
you don't
I honestly think if they do try to make a trade for either Beckham or Brown, they're going to slot them in as Z's. Either one of them.
You don't think Bourne was good at going across the middle?
Bourne was good. I think Bourne made crazy catches, but then there were some catches that you were like, how do you drop that when it hits you right in your numbers? He was a little inconsistent with that. But, I mean, I don't know.
I just
Devin Funches. That's who you said.
Oh, Funches.
That's it. Yeah. That's the guy I would try to do a 1-year deal, a 1-year prove it, like Alshon Jeffrey did with Philly.
Bourne to me is just not really proven anything to me. I understand he led the team with touchdowns and not receptions, but yards. But there was just so many plays that if he would have caught, literally would have put us in position to win. I could think of 3 games off the head, like just thinking off the head, and he dropped on 3rd down. And to me, like, it was just he makes this really hard catch, like Tony said, and then he drops things that hit him right in his hands or his chest. I don't know. I want to be all in on the Bourne train with a lot of people, but I just can't get there yet.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting season because God, there's so much familiarity out there, man. Justin Hardy's a free agent. I didn't realize that.
Somebody said Robbie Anderson has more arrests than he does catches, but his charge was dropped. He was never even charged with it.
That's funny as hell. That's a good one, man. There's a lot of good wide receivers that are out here, man. Tony, you want Des Bryant on a 1 year coming off of that injury?
No, I don't want Des.
Devin Funches is out there.
That's my sleeper, Mike. I told you that the other day, and you thought I was talking about Calvin Benjamin.
Yeah, you kept saying Funches, and I was thinking, like, no one wants his fat ass over here, man.
Somebody said Cam even gave up on Funches, though.
Cam gave up on all his wide receivers, though.
Cam gave up on his throwing motion, too.
Damn. Demaryius Thomas is out there. Randall Cobb, Dante Moncrief, Tavon Austin, Golden Tate, Ryan Grant, John Brown. Damn, I thought John Brown signed a 3-year deal with the Ravens. It was a 1 year?
Yeah, 1 year.
Damn. Jermaine Kearse, Terrence Williams, Cordell Patterson, Kevin White, Mike Wallace.
I see a lot of people in here saying Devontae Parker.
He's got to be released first.
I was say he's not a free agent.
Yeah, if he gets cut, would you take a risk at him?
I would take a shot. He's never lived up to the hype. And listen, I remember when he came out, Balky was in love with him.
I would rather have Kevin White. They're like the same guy, aren't they?
He's a little bit leaner. This guy White's a little bit more bigger, physical wide receiver.
Yeah,
I think he's faster too.
I would keep White. I would keep White. Andre Roberts from the Jets is also. Damn, the Jets ain't gonna have any wide receivers. Quentin Patton's in the AAF. Andre Roberts is free. Robbie's out there now. Michael Floyd. Rob Streeter, Dontrell Inman, Bruce Ellington, Chris Conley, Jamison Crowder from Washington.
That's a guy right there. You said it, Chris Conley.
We got Justin Hardy, Josh Huff.
I'd take a flyer on Dante Moncrief in this system.
Yeah. It wouldn't be a flyer, though. He's looking to get paid, right?
I don't know what he made last year. All right, so
let me ask you guys something. If you take Kendrick Bourne and you put him on, let's say the Giants, do you think he puts up the numbers that he did in San Francisco?
I don't.
Okay, so basically, by saying
you're going from a good system to a piss poor quarterback.
But basically, by saying that, you think his production was because of Kyle scheming him open?
Yeah, but half the time he ran wrong routes.
That's his. Those are the two big issues with him.
Bro, he's so worried about his ice hanging around his neck.
His route running and his hands, inconsistent hands.
Yeah, but both of those are going to change with the coaches that they brought in, man.
No, I agree. I'm just going off of last year, Mike.
And if he was with the Giants instead, the 400 yards with the Giants is easy to get, though. The Giants had me thinking that Sterling Shepard was going to be a monster. Like they get people the ball over there.
But what I'm saying is, you see how Kyle, like week by week, he finds the weakness of the defense and he schemes a player open to attack that. So do you think his production was because of Kyle scheming him open?
Yeah, that absolutely has a part of it, for sure.
I think right now, to me, just because we brought in Wes Welker and we brought in Miles Austin and these guys played in the league and they were good at what they did, it still falls back on you have to have the talent, the smarts, the work ethic. And, I've said this before about defense. Like, it's not all on the coaches. Like, I think that these coaches will help these players along. But why not get a guy who has consistently played well in the league and deserves to be paid, and then bring that talent along with our young guys instead of saying you have to be the guy. You know what I mean? Like where, Mike, where you just said, and there's nothing wrong with what you just said. It's just saying, well, I really think these coaches are going to turn it around. Well, we hope they can turn it around. It also comes in with mindset and work ethic, and Kendrick Bourne does not have really good work ethic from what we can see. I mean, how many times are we yelling at the TV saying, why did Bourne just run the wrong route? Or one of the quarterbacks was yelling at him saying, you were supposed to go this way or that way,
Another big issue was he was always lining up on the wrong side.
Yeah, so, I mean.
Right, but these coaches that are coming in, they can't make him a physically better wide receiver. That's on him.
No, they're going to improve his attention to detail. That's what they're going to work on with
him. Right.
The
two guys that were here weren't physically gifted. They were mental tacticians. Like that's what they did. And if they can't get it through to him, see you later, Kendrick.
And that's the thing that scares me is I can tell you how to do something over and over and over and over again. But if you don't work hard at doing it, like you said, see you later. Because that's where it falls on you. Coaching and playing football is 50-50. You can get 50% coached, and then 50% you have to do to make that 100%. So it just scares me with Kendrick Bourne. I'm just not – I know a lot of people are sold on Kendrick Bourne. I'm just not there yet. But But I was also sold on Marquise Goodwin and thinking that he could be a 1,000-yard receiver, and I really still think he can. It's just he can't stay healthy, which is a big problem. You got to be available to make plays, and he's not there.
He's not built for a 16-game season.
No, he's built as a rotational wide receiver.
Yep.
That's
he'd
what
be a damn good one too. He'd be a really good Taylor Gabriel.
And another thing, let's not forget, guys. Bourne was an undrafted free agent. So to this point, from when we signed him, what we got out of him, it's a plus. I mean, I'm happy we signed him. But now, listen, if we have the ability to make our wide receiver core better, you have to do that, and you have to upgrade the whole room if you have the opportunity to, and give him an opportunity to compete with what we brought in that we consider our upgrades. But I mean, it's not like we're talking about a second, a third, or a first-round pick. This guy was an undrafted free agent.
Right, and he went undrafted for a reason. Yeah, I get you.
Adam Sanders says, you guys did not watch last year. Kendrick Bourne had 3 drops. I think he had more than 3 drops.
He had a lot more than 3 drops.
He might have had 3 in crucial third downs that I can remember.
I'm not the drop counter person. I'll be honest with you. It always looks worse and feels worse than what it is. I do remember him having one, like, hit him right in his hands on a big third down, and he was trying to run before he got it, and it just completely whiffed on the ball. So that is probably magnified in my head. It feels like it happened 5 times. I'm not the drop counter, so I don't have the stats or like anything like that in front of me. I just think that the young man, I think he's a lot of fun to watch. He's just got to do stuff the right way. You know what I mean? I don't think he's going to be a wide receiver 1 or even a wide receiver 2. I think he's a lot of fun to watch, though.
I'll take him hands down as a wide receiver 3 or as a wide receiver 4. If we could take him and be productive as a wide receiver 4 in this offense, it's a score. As an undrafted free agent, it's a score.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to be finishing up here. We got about 7 more minutes. We're going to go till 12 o'clock. So I'm going to scroll through, see if there's any. All right. So Coach Tim says, here's another one by Coach Tim. If D. Thomas can still play coming off the Achilles, I'd love to have him a veteran, great red zone presence too. Would you add him?
I'm on the fence with Thomas because prior to his Achilles, he really looked like he lost a step. When he went to Houston, I mean, if it's a 1-year veteran minimum with incentives to prove it, I mean, you bring him in, you give him a shot, but I'm not committing anything more than that towards him. The guy was just in a car accident 4 days ago, I think.
Yeah, and they thought that people died in the car accident. No, I'm okay, man. I mean, I like his size, the 6'3" and everything, but if I'm going to take a flyer on a guy like that, I might as well go ahead and take the flyer on the Kevin White, who's also 6'3", 6'4".
Listen, we don't want to get old.
Right.
We want to stay mid to low. If we have a veteran, if we add a Brown, and he's our oldest guy, and our room is 25, 24, 23, a 26-year-old, that's cool. I could deal with that. But I don't want to add, like, Marquise Goodwin's, 29? Now you're talking about adding Demaryius Thomas. I just want it to be fast. Like I want to see this offense explode and be fast.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. And that's what I think Kyle Shanahan wants too. What are your thoughts, Nick? You keeping Thomas, or would you be interested in Demaryius?
No, I wouldn't be interested in him. There's too much. He like Tony said, he definitely looked like he was declining, and then injury on top of that. So I like his size and stuff. For some reason, I can't get back to that question. I like his size and stuff like you do, but I just think we can do so much better in a different player, and possibly even just a little bit younger than Demaryius Thomas. Demaryius Thomas has been bouncing around now, and whether it be for injuries or just not playing for the same team being cut or whatever, or released, traded. So no, I'm good. I'd put it wouldn't be a hard pass, but it'd be a pass. Like if he were to come here, I'd say, okay, well, hopefully he does well. You know what I mean? But other than that, I'm not going out on a limb to sign Demaryius Thomas.
All right. Were there any other questions or anything like that in the comments over there? No one else want to call in 628-888-3443.
Ray says Mike Singletary wants to re-sign Carlos Hyde and keep Alfred Morris over the Jet. Ray is always going at you. Tell him, Mike. Somebody said Carlos Hyde was just cut. So the Niners fans are going to be screaming around, "Bring back Hyde."
They picked up a punter and cut a running back. That's crazy.
Yeah. Question. All right, so here it is. West Coast question for the last 4 minutes. Quick and easy. Thoughts on Josh Allen now after not liking him early in the offseason? If Bosa's not there and we get a free agent edge rusher, I'm taking Josh Allen. I'm done with Josh Allen. Everybody else.
I mean, I think that question was for you. I don't think either one of us didn't like him earlier. Didn't you say that's what it was? Thoughts on him after not liking him or something like that?
Yeah, he's been posting it all night, and I don't know why people think I didn't like this guy. That wasn't the whole feeling on it. I like the guy as an athlete. I think he's a hell of an athlete. I think he has a lot of talent. Is really, really athletic. I'm so afraid of how this coaching staff will use him or misuse him. And learning.
I thought someone else was a better fit. That's all. It's not a
big. It's not that I don't like Josh Allen. If we addressed edge rusher, I said this before. I would love to have him come in here and play Sam. He's an athlete. He's going to make our team better. I'm going to support him one way or another. It's just I like somebody else for our fit more than I like Josh Allen as of right now. Because I just feel like, yes, overall, he probably has a higher ceiling than some of the guys that I like. But as of coming in and doing what we need right now, I think that he would be misused and it would just waste a year of his career and then going into next year and then going into the following, like the third year, and then he'll start coming to his own. Then he's going to have to be paid even more money. And I just don't want to see him. I think he's a great athlete. If he comes here, I'm going to support him. I have nothing against Josh Allen.
Nick, do you remember Julian Peterson?
Yes.
Would you compare him to Josh Allen?
In college?
No, pro. Would he project to the pro level?
See, I don't.
Bro, Tony asked me this question during the week. I didn't know who Julian Peterson was. I had to look him up. And I told him, I said, I wasn't passionate about the Niners like that when I was in high school. That wasn't my thing. So I didn't get it. But after I looked it up and everything, I could see what he was talking about.
Yeah, like they have some comparisons, but I don't know if I can compare them as in saying Josh Allen would do what he did or he could do what he did. Because it was two different errors. Josh Allen is a hybrid type freak who's gonna, if he's used correctly, he's gonna do well in the NFL. So that's a hard question. I'd have to get back to you on that one, Tony.
I know you guys don't want to go into this because Mike's got to go to work. We want to wrap this up by midnight. But the thing that just gets me is with Josh Allen is the guy was in coverage approximately between 45 and 48% of the time, and he still produced 17 sacks. That is crazy. Where did Mike go?
He had to go.
Oh.
So, I understand statistic. Like, I don't know why everybody's just living off of stats, though. Like,
because that's Nick. That's let's just say, out of 200 snaps he played, out of the 200, he only rushed 100 times and he got 17 sacks.
Yeah, but are we going to utilize him that way? That's the problem.
In nickel, he will be utilized as a rusher, and the base will be. That's just my opinion.
So okay, so just and we're not going to get into this, but
no,
where did most of his sacks come from when he was standing up playing outside linebacker?
Yeah, but if he's standing, okay, I don't think standing or hands in the dirt. That's a personal preference where you feel you're most explosive out of. There were guys that I played with at a high school level, and I tried out with in another level, and when they would run their 40s, they would run it. They would get in a good squat, like a 2-point stance, and run. Where you have some guys that get down as a track guy.
Right.
It's all personal preference on how you feel. Because if you really want to get technical, the originator of the defense that we play was George Seifert. Pete Carroll took the principles of George Seifert's defense and he made it into what it is now.
Right. Okay?
Charles Haley stood up.
Right, but you don't think there's going to be a learning curve for him coming from a 3-4 outside linebacker to a 4-3 defensive end? There's going to be a learning curve. Like, he has one thing. He has speed. Like, and it's not putting anything against him. That's where everybody gets confused. They think I'm, like, against him. It's just comparing Bosa to him. Bosa has more traits in his pocket right now than Josh Allen does. And is more of probably a prime player to come in the NFL day one than Josh Allen is.
As a pass rusher, yes.
Yes, as a pass rusher, which is what we need. We can get a Sam linebacker and Anthony Barr, or, you know what I mean? Like, so if everybody's complaining about edge, but then they're all talking about drafting a guy at number 2 overall who would have to learn the position.
Yeah.
And learn more about it. That's the only concern for me. Do I think am I doubting Josh Allen will have a higher ceiling than Nick Bosa or anybody else in this draft? No. I think he will actually probably have a higher career or higher ceiling than a lot of these guys. But what the 49ers need in this scheme right now is a legitimate pass rush, whether that's pressures, whether that's hits, whether that's sacks. Somebody to disrupt the offensive quarterback to help out our defense, our secondary, our linebackers. Do I want to draft a guy who's not going to be completely tooled for what we want him to do, like moving Eric Armstead out there or moving Solomon Thomas out there? And I understand they're more freaks, like different freaks, because Josh Allen is a freak. But that's the only thing that scares me. It just scares me because this coaching staff, I just really feel will utilize him incorrectly. And A, it will hurt the team, and B, stunt the growth of the player.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
is there any more questions?
Yeah, let's see real quick. Coach Tim says, Allen will play Sam linebacker. He'll still be standing up. Did you watch Njoku play last year at Sam? Go watch the film. Allen will be much more effective, or even Anthony Barr if we sign him. Yes, exactly. I understand that. I have no problem with playing Josh Allen. That's why I said if we can get a Trey Flowers, I'll draft Josh Allen. Because then you play Josh Allen at the Sam linebacker's position, and you get an edge rusher with Trey Flowers. Ray says Nick likes Bosa over Allen because of Bosa's first name. No, that's definitely not why. Let's see. I get this feeling that Bosa might be injury prone like his bro Joey. Forget learning curve. The whole NFL is going to be a learning curve for Allen. A lot of Allen's sacks were unblocked. Seifert was great. I'm just trying to go through these comments real quick. Size, that is it. Allen has the best ceiling, but his floor is too low. No learning curve. Good in coverage and tackling. Sam position killed the Niners last season. If we get Trey Flowers, we need to trade down and get Devin White. I don't mind that either.
Oh my God.
But I would definitely, if I could get Trey Flowers and Josh Allen, I'd be ecstatic with that.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, guys, make sure. I know Tony got in here late, so he's probably like, yeah, I want to still go, but we're gonna start doing shows on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. So make sure you check us out here on YouTube. As well, check out nothingbutniners.com. Mike just came out with an article that I know it's a part of a series. I think NY to the Bay is going to be coming out with another piece and a couple other guys. And make sure you follow us on our social media. Tony is NJ9erFan499 on Twitter. I am 49erFaithful365 on Twitter. You can check out our Facebook and Instagram pages at Nothing But Niners, and as well as Snapchat and Twitter, Nothing But 9ERS. Chris, I'm not ignoring the O-line. We definitely need to upgrade that. And then, so Tuesday night shows are going to be points and things that are going on with the team. Thursday night's going to be fan interaction. So make sure you guys call in during the week if you have any questions. You can text the message or the phone number 628-888-3443, or you can give us a call, leave a voicemail. We'll play it on air, and we will answer that question as well. So Thursday nights at 10 p.m., I believe, is going to be the time. Not really set on that, but it's definitely going to be on Thursday nights. And then Sundays are going to be debate days. Basically, it's going to be me, probably Tony, and Mike. And we're just literally, it's going to be debate. So it's going to be going back and forth about certain things, different opinions, and going at it. So make sure you guys check us out on all of those social medias. Thanks for joining in as well tonight, following us on all of our platforms. Without you guys, we would be nothing. Make sure you check out our website as well for our apparel, George Stone Cold Kittle shirts, and our Birth of a Dynasty. I have a Birth of a Dynasty right here. You can check it out. See, Birth of a Dynasty, 87, NB9ers. I don't wear that white t-shirt. I'm not very good with white, but you can get them in black hoodies, gray hoodies. I got a Croc Time hoodie on tonight. Check it out. Croc Time. Supporting Eric Crocker. But yeah, guys, give us a follow on all of our social media avenues if you haven't already. And other than that, Tony, you got anything to say, bud?
Yeah, just send those questions. We really want to interact with the fans. What is it on Twitter? Hashtag Ask NB9ers.
Yeah, hashtag Ask NB9ers. AskNB9ERS.
Send them in, make the call, leave a message. We're really looking forward to answering some good questions as it gets closer to free agency, the draft. Things are going to be popping soon, so it's going to be busy, and we're going to try to give you 3 nights. Yeah, that's it. Just looking forward to the off season.
I also just posted the email in the chat. Is West Coast? We might do a mock draft. We usually do. The email, if you want to send in questions, is NB9ers, NB9ERS at nothingbutniners.com. Telephone number 628-888-3443. I'll put that in the room again right now. So you guys can copy that and save it. And give us a call. Leave a voicemail. I won't answer it. I'll send you right the voicemail unless we're doing a show. And yeah, so if that's it, Tony, you're good?
Yes, sir. I'm good.
All right. Tony, thanks for joining in. Like I said, give Tony a follow on Twitter. He talks 49ers football all day long. That is NJ9er, NINER, fan, FAN 499. And I am 49er Faithful 365. And you can check me out on Twitter as well. Go hit that like and subscribe button. Set your notifications on YouTube if it's your first time watching. And above all else, stay faithful. We out of here.